everyone, if you're new here, my name is Hannah and welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe down below to be part of the family. And let's jump on in and get started. Today's video is another installment of my top 5 favourite beauty products. I will have the playlist for all my previous ones linked down below and linked up here in the corner for you to check out if you want to, of course. You're not obligated to, but why wouldn't you want to check them out? Anyway guys, so if you want to see what my top 5 favourite eyeshadow palettes are, then just keep watching. I have picked out 5 of my favourite palettes. Out of all of the palettes that I own, these are the 5 top favourite eyeshadow palettes. And this was really hard, trust me, really hard. So let's just jump in. So I'm going to start off with the Juvia's Place Nubian 2 palette. Really hard to decide which Juvia's Place palette that I liked the most. I think that it's this one, mostly because it has a lot of the neutral colours and it has a few pops of colour. It has some shimmery shades, it has a lot of mattes. It can give you a really nice subtle everyday look. It can give you a really smoky look. It can give you something with a bit of colour. I just think it's a very versatile palette, especially for how many shades are in here. There's only 12. So, I mean, it's a very versatile for a 12 shade palette, if that makes sense. I really love the formula of Juvia's Place palettes. They're really creamy, pigmented, and they blend out really well. They're more of the affordable price tag as well. Juvia's Place palettes are generally around about the 20-25 USD mark, which works out to about 30-35 Australian dollars, maybe? Something like that. But yeah, so they're generally around that mark, so they're more on the affordable side. And they're very good for the price. I would definitely, if I had to recommend any company that was affordable, that had really good quality eyeshadows, I would recommend Juvia's Place. #1 every single time. Next up, I have the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. This is only really a new release. This only came out in Australia a couple of months ago. Yeah, a couple of months ago. I have used this a ton of times since then. I just find that this is probably the best chocolate bar palette that they have ever come out with. I've never really been interested in any of their other chocolate bar palettes. The only one I really liked was the Sweet Peach palette, which isn't a part of my top 5, but I did like that one. But this one is definitely by far the best chocolate bar palette. This is the one that intrigued me as soon as I saw it, and this is amazing. So this has 12 foiled shadows and 4 mattes. And yes, they are foiled shadows. Foiled. Not shimmer, not metallic, they're foiled shadows. These are beautiful. You can use these wet and they'll still be just as metallic and foiled as they would be if you used them, if you use them dry. Like, they're pretty good. Dry, wet or dry, they work really well. I've used this wet and dry, and wet and dry is just as good as wet. That's what she said. But yeah, so I find that this one has a lot of beautiful colours. It does only have the 4 matte shades, but I find that that is enough. So if you use these 4 matte shades to create the exact same base look every single time, it's always going to look different because you're always going to have these beautiful shades to mix up. You can mix and match, you can use a few of them, you could use just one, and it's going to make the look completely different every time. So I definitely think that having just these 4 matte shades is a perfect amount for this palette. I love this. I couldn't recommend this enough for foiled shadows. If you're after a really good metallic or foiled shadow palette, I would recommend this one. This is 70 Australian dollars, but it is worth every penny. Oh, I love this, especially if you love that shimmery eyeshadow look. Just like I do. Oh, definitely one of my top 5s. Next up, I'm going to talk about the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. This, I just had to put it in my top 5. I mean, come on, it's Anastasia Beverly Hills. They have amazing shadow quality, especially the Modern Renaissance. The Modern Renaissance has always been the most high quality palette that they have made so far, out of the 3 that are still available, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I never got to try the Master palette by Mario or any of the palettes before that. I didn't really discover Anastasia Beverly Hills until the Modern Renaissance, but I am definitely happy that I did. This palette is filled with such beautiful warm shades. If you are a lover of warm tones, you're gonna love this. If you're not, then I mean, maybe this isn't for you, but this is a beautiful arrangement of warm tones. You can do everyday looks, you can do smoky looks, you can do so much with this palette. The formula in these palettes are so amazing. They are so creamy, so blendable, so pigmented. Like, oh my god, these are amazing. Apparently the Soft Glam palette is supposed to be the same formula as this, that they've gone back to their original formula. I just didn't buy the Soft Glam palette because there is a few shades in the Soft Glam that is in this one, so I don't think that I really need that one, if that makes sense. And this has got the more like pinky tones and stuff like that, which is what I really enjoy. And yeah, this is definitely a palette that I will recommend and keep recommending for a very, very long time. Okay, so next up, it was a little bit hard to decide which one of these was going to be in my top 5, but I ultimately went with the Tarte Toasted palette. So I basically have these two, so the Tarte Toasted and the Naked Heat. So I was looking at these and I was just thinking these are very, very similar. So the Naked Heat has these very warm, deep red tones, and then the Tarte palette has very warm tones, but they're more of the orangey shades. Can you see the difference? I don't know if you can really, but these have more of like an orange shade to them, and these have more of like a red deep shade to them. So they do have some differences. They aren't exactly the same like a lot of people are saying that they are, but ultimately it came down to performance and the quality of the shadows. So in my opinion, I think that the Tarte Toasted palette is better, mostly because the formula in the eyeshadows is creamier, easier to blend, and I think more pigmented, to be completely honest. Unless it was just my palette, I don't know, but it's better than my Heat palette. I do love the Heat palette just as much. That would probably be my top 6 if I could have a top 6, but at the moment I had to pick one, and this was the one that I chose for the performance and the price. I think this is way better for the price as well. But yeah, so I mean, much of a much. If you're more into this kind of one, then if you're more into this kind of one, then you know what I mean? This is just, in my opinion, the better option if you were tossing up between both of these. And last but not least, I had to mention this palette. You guys know I had to mention this palette. This is the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. Of course I had to mention this palette. Everybody loves this palette. I do keep mine in the original box, mostly because I don't want to get fingerprints all over it, which, I mean, I've already got a few fingerprints all over it because it's really hard seeing as it's so white, but I keep it in the box just for that reason. So this is the palette, obviously. You guys know exactly what it looks like, but this palette, the reason that I absolutely love this palette so much is because it is so versatile. You've got a ton of matte shades, a ton of shimmer shades, you've got all these beautiful light shades, all of these beautiful warm shades, you've got some cool shades, some colourful shades. You've got everything in here to make a million different looks. You can literally use this for so many different reasons. Like, you could use an everyday subtle look, you could do crazy colourful smoky eyes, you could do anything with this, and that is why I love it. It's so versatile. The formula is really, really nice as well. It is creamy and blendable and pigmented. Pigmented, oh yeah. But yeah, I think they did a really, really good job with this palette, and I really, really enjoy it. And if you can get your hands on this one, I would recommend definitely pick that one up. Just be careful if you don't get the updated packaging version, because obviously the updated one is the shiny packaging, which can be easily wiped away, like all the dirt and stuff. And if you don't get that one, just make sure you keep it in the box. Good tip to keep it clean. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful in some way. Well, it should be, right? I mean, the whole point of you watching this video is to find out why I like products and what ones I do. I hope that I've given you some really good information and some good reasons as to why I love these products so much, and maybe it will help you in deciding whether you want to pick up these products or not. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!